Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're doing something fun. We're going into Halloween. It's the 28th, 27th? It's the 28th of October for me. We are quickly nearing Halloween. And I have read like one horror book in my life. Like one thriller. And I thought this would be a perfect time to read some more. I asked some of my friends like, hey, I'm new to this. What's a good starting point? And the most often said one was The Housemaid. And I think even though you haven't read any horror or thriller, you've heard of The Housemaid. Do I know what it's about? No. But I know it exists. I know it's kicking about. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, which is definitely a plus. Another one that was suggested to me was Ask for Andrea. She looks like this. I'll also put it here. Both of them are on Kindle Unlimited. Usually I want to read 3 books in a video like this. But since I have never read of this genre before, not really at least, I don't want to put a third up, because what if I hate it? What if I hate thrillers or horrors or whatever you want to call them? So I might end up doing a third one that is more of the same sort of another horror or thriller. Or I'll end up doing a little romance with some mystical elements. So I'm keeping it up for interpretation for now, and then we'll see how we end up doing it. Because it would really suck if I hated all of the books and I was reading it for a week. So we'll see where we end up with it. I think I'll start with The Housemaid, just because I've heard so much about it that I really want to see what the hype is about. And I feel like it might be one of the best places to start my little journey of horror, just because I know it's one of the books that most people talk well about. The way I can without a single doubt in my heart say I have some of the best friends ever is a really nice feeling to have. Because look at the mountain. I didn't order any of this. I'm really excited to see. My friends have sent me. Let's just go from the top. A little note. My friends are the best. My friends are the best. This is from Julia, like all the others. And she says that this is one of her favorite books. Sounds so good. Julia, this sounds so good. I'm reading it right now. Like, you know how I just said that I didn't know what my third book was gonna be? This might be the third book. This sounds so good. Masters of Death, and it starts out with saying Viola Merrick is a struggling estate agent and a vampire. But her biggest issue is that the house she's setting is haunted. Coming to this reading vlog. Let's get this taped in so I don't lose it. And we're doing this one. I'm so excited for this one. It looks so good. Let's see what else is hiding here. Note. Long note. This is from my friend Is. We buddy read. I don't know why it's still attached. But we buddy read the 7-year slip. And she said she wanted to send me a little something. And that we could buddy read that one too. And I am already excited. The Dead Romantics. This is one of the ones where maybe I don't have a wasabi tape that fits. Let's try this one. Now we got that taped in as well. Thank you so much, Is. And I think I already know who sent me these. But why are they so big? What did she order that needed 2 boxes? It is from the person I thought it was from. These are from my best friend Mel. I am seeing something that is weirdly boxed up. No, you guys. No, this smells so good. Oh my god, it smells like a Christmas cookie. And in the same box we have. This is adorable. No, this is adorable. Okay, now for the last little box. What do we got? I need a second. Mel has my heart, okay? We're starting with Betting on You Nothing Like the Movies. The entire Natural series. And then coloring pencils, just in case I didn't have any. Mel, you know how much you mean to me. Like, you are my best friend, right? And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nothing Like the Movies gets this one. I'm actually so emotional right now. Actually, I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Julia, Ismail, I appreciate you guys so much. Like, you, I truly thank you. Is it currently 10:30? Yes. Have I had one of the most productive days I've had in a very long time? Also yes. Is it all because I've been procrastinating reading this book? Yes, I think so. The thing about it is that it feels a bit daunting since I've never read anything like it before. So I'm really scared to start for some reason. So I came up with a brilliant plan. A master plan, if you will. We're gonna start a 20-minute timer on my iPad. And then we're just gonna read for 20 minutes. No expectations, no nothing. Just 20 minutes of reading, and then I'll update you guys on how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking when those 20 minutes are done. Because it's always the first half an hour in a book that's hardest. Because there's so much new stuff that it can feel overwhelming. So we'll do 20 minutes of hard work. And when we've done that, hopefully it'll be a lot easier for me to get into this. Because I've just heard it's a really good starter, and it honestly flies past as soon as you're into it. So I'm hoping that's what happens. I just need to get into it. So we try. We see if this strategy works. "20 minutes has passed. We're 30 pages in at 11%. And my Kindle is politely telling me I have 3 hours and 46 minutes left. What do you think? I don't know if I like horror. Of course I'll keep reading and stuff. But I just keep being like, how are you this stupid? I just keep having the feeling of, well, you obviously know something's wrong with this scenario. Why stay? Well, the thing is, I know why. But I guess I'll find out when I read more. But so far, it's just been about this woman who's been in prison, who's coming out and finding a job, and ending up in a situation where she's a housemaid. And of course, there are the biggest red flags known to man flying about everywhere she looks. But she needs a job, so she doesn't really have a lot of choice. I already know shit's gonna go so bad, so fast. But I'm intrigued to see how, I guess. Yeah. I'm a bit over halfway in The Housemaid, and I am very torn on it. People not being fair to other people like really irks me to the extreme. And this book is filled with that. Like, there's basically anything but people being disrespectful in one way or another. I've just gotten to the plot twist at about 60% or something like that. It's kind of spicy. It is honestly quite good, but I sadly can feel that I am not thriller girly, because it's just unfair treatment is just making me uncomfortable, which is basically what all of it is. And like her doing stupid moves, like deciding to stay somewhere where the lock is on the outside of the door, but her choosing to stay there doesn't give like a resemblance of an idea that you shouldn't be there. Apparently not. I can definitely see why people say that The Housemaid is a good starter thriller, because I have read one thriller before this one, and it's called The Beholders. It's this one. It honestly seems like it has the exact same plot. Like, step for step, the exact same plot. So I have inkling of how it's going to end, just because I've already read a book that seems to be the exact same thing but set in like 1800s London. I'm gonna finish it and then I'll give you guys an update on like what my final thoughts on it are. And then we're gonna start Ask for Andrea, which is also quite exciting. I finished, and it turns out I like thriller if they end like that. As I suspected with it, it flew past because something kept happening at all times, and just enough for you to be intrigued at all times as well. I'm not really looking at page amount or anything like that, although I can feel that thriller probably isn't my style, and that's because I didn't have the same feeling I usually have when I'm reading romance and stuff like that. And I know it's of course a completely different genre, but I think I've just found myself in the romance genre and is quite comfortable there. I think you're getting blinded by these, so I'll just take them off. I think I end up giving it like a 3.25 or 3.5 on the feeling I have right now. But I actually do think I want to continue the series because I really like the premise of it, and I think I'll really like the setup. Well, I really do like the setup that it's doing for the 2 coming books as well. But all in all, it was a pretty good bet for one of my first thrillers. In my previous clip, I compared it to The Beholders, and I do still agree that up till like halfway, it has that. And then the last half is completely different, like completely different. But the first half was the exact same, but in the 1800s. I think I would suggest The Housemaid a lot more than I would suggest Beholders, just because I enjoyed it more and it was a lot easier to read. So I might actually end up bumping The Housemaid further up, but I'll try to like rummage on it a bit and then I'll update you on what my opinion is at the end. The problem I'm having now is that in the other books I've read, there's been like very specific symbols throughout the book. It made sense for me to crochet, but I'll add that clip here and I will start Ask for Andrea as well. And that one should be a little bit different. I really go into these not knowing anything. I've asked my friends, hey, what's a good starting thriller? And these were the 2 first suggestions. And that's it. That's all I go into knowing. So let's see if I like it the same way I've liked The Housemaid. So this is where I'd put my Ask for Andrea footage, if I had any. But I don't, so TLDR, 4 stars, loved it, accidentally read it in one night. Yep, that's it, thank you. Here's the crochet. I thought I'd give a little bit of an update. I am currently visiting my parents' house and I am having such a hard time getting into Masters of Death. Like it's interesting, but I feel like the blurb like kind of lied. I at least haven't got to the part that it like hints at, I guess. I'm like 15% in, something like that, so nothing crazy. So I am heading to a cafe where I'll get a little iced coffee and I'll sit and I'll get some reading done. I talked to Julia, who'd gifted it to me, and she said that she thought it got like really good as soon as you hit the 25% mark. So I want to push to like a 30% today at least, which should be easy. My Kindle is only saying it's like 4.5 hours left. So if I read it for like an hour and a half at the cafe, I should at least get a good bit more in. But maybe I'm just not jiving with it. I feel like all the characters so far are really interesting. I just have yet to find out why I should care. So right now I'm gonna push myself for the last bit, just to get a bit into it, and then we'll reconvene. It is 2 days ago that I updated you last. I am at 33%. I'm having the hardest time getting into this book, and I can't tell you why. Because it is interesting and stuff is happening and there's a lot of characters that are built really beautifully. I don't know if it's because I'm at my parents' place and I can't just like relax enough to read, or if it's the book or whatever it is. Like, it's even at the point where I switch to my Kindle, and then I'm just gonna power through. I'm gonna read for a minimum of 3 hours, and my Kindle says I have a little under 4 hours left. And then my hope is that I've been reading so unfocused that I might be able to finish it at 3. Because right now I'm at the point with this one where I kind of just want to be done. So right now, it's not it. It's still not it. I'm gonna update you guys again at like 50%, 65, whatever. And then we'll see if my opinion's changed. Update. It's been like, I don't know, an hour. I am at 58%. And I have 2 hours and 17 minutes left of the book. And you better believe I'm rushing through this. It is, the thing is, I don't know why it's not interesting me. Because it is interesting. And the plots they're putting up is kind of cool. The problem I'm running into is just the fact that it's... Maybe it's the writing style that isn't like fully hitting right. It just seems to be a lot of stuff being said, mostly to confuse. And that's not... I don't know if that's my thing. So, right now, I'm doing my best. I finished it. I ended up liking it more than I did. And I know exactly where it all went wrong, for me at least, and that's the blurb. Because when you read the blurb, it honestly sounds like you're going into like a rom-com. But the entire thing is like kind of a heist, almost. So I really feel like that was very misleading, and I think I would have liked the story a lot more, like if I had known what I was going into. So I honestly think I am going to give it. But one thing I really loved about it is that in the story, like throughout when you like start meeting people, there are these beautiful illustrations of like the characters and like their names at the bottom. And not just for the main characters either, but also for like the side characters, and I thought that was quite fun. I'm having a bit of a hard time rating it, I think, to give it like a final ending. But I think I'll put it at a... I'm thinking a 3 point... Oh, I'm so torn between 2.5 and 5. Because it was a really, really good story. But it really jinxed it for me that the blurb was so incorrect. Because it just wasn't what I was expecting at all. And it wasn't what I was in the mood for as well. Because I went into it thinking it was a bit of like a silly rom-com with some... like creatures, like some silly little ghosts and some silly little vampires, and you know, and that just wasn't it at all. I'm going to settle it on a 3.25, which isn't a bad rating at all, but please know that it isn't a rom-com going into it. Like, there is a love story in it, but it is a very vague love story. A little summary of what we've read of in this little Halloween blog, which is now the 5th, but the vibe is there. I read my second ever thriller or horror. I'm never really not sure what word to use, but you get where I'm going with it. I read The Housemaid, which I honestly had such a fun time with. It is a very quick read, and it was a bit silly, but it was honestly really fun. And I think like the 3.5 is the feeling I'm sitting with on that one. And then we have As for Andrea, which was honestly such a good book for me. I can't... Yeah, it was just such a good book. I had such a fun time. It was a very differently explained thriller without having read a lot, I think. That I think I'll stick with giving like a 4.25. Future me checking in. I realized I never wrapped up the crocheting. So I just finished the last crocheting for Masters of Death. You'll get that video here. But a little wrap up of all the different crocheting we've done. So for the first book, The Housemaid, we have a little tooth. Then for the second one, As for Andrea, we have a little cup of coffee, like a little takeout coffee cup. It's really ugly, but that happens, and we will get some that looks better than others. This was not a win. And then for the last one, I was a bit unsure of what I wanted to make, and that's because there wasn't really any like... Well, of course there was a lot of symbols, but then was like death. And so there was a lot of talk of a ledger, so I made a little book. So that's all about crocheting. So I'm gonna let past me go back to saying goodbye. Yeah. This one turned out to last a little longer than I expected to, the vlog, but I honestly had a lot of fun, and I'm really happy I took the time with it that I did, because it's the way that it fit me. But I think that's gonna be the end of the video. I am leaving my Goodreads and my Instagram down in the description, so if you're curious about it, you can always take a look. My Bookstagram isn't really up and running that much yet. I am posting a few pictures once in a while, but it's still a bit new. But I'm hoping you enjoyed the video, and I'm hoping to see you in the next one, so bye.